Welcome. Welcome to the Holy Experience. We are grateful that you have joined us today. And as you know, or if you don't know, I am Reverend Melissa McQueen Simmons, the virtual pastor and spiritual director for Holy Ground Spiritual Center. And this year, our theme is co creation. And I have the absolute honor and pleasure to co create with Tashari. And I'm going to bring Tashari on the screen with me. So I could say many things. So, what we're going to do is we're going to briefly introduce ourselves, and then we will have a moment of silence as we just enjoy the moment and be in the moment in this time and space, or meditate, however you would like to call that. And then we will have a selection called Mystery of Me by Chante. So I am here. I am a faith director. I'm a pastor. I am a dancer. I'm a mom. I'm a veteran. I'm a friend. I'm an auntie. I'm a cousin. I'm a sister. And I'm a healer. I'm an intuitive. I'm all the things spiritual and a nature lover. And I am here and excited because when you think about co creation, I am mindful that each of us can co create with anybody. But today, you all get to see a mentor and mentee co create. And I am just blessed and honored to share this space with Tashari. So, Tashari, introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm blessed and honored to share the space with you. Thank you. We talked about this. I was making my vision board for the year. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay. I was making my vision board for the year and I was talking about how I no longer wanted to anything. And so we talked about co creating, and I'm glad we're here today. I am Tashari Sanders, seminary at Columbia Theological Seminary, getting my Master of Arts in Practical Theology. And I am a Southern Black queer femme, 28 years old, County, North Carolina. I am a person who I have lots of different identities. For the most part, Southern Black queer femme, my age, mentally ill, child of God. All those things feel like the sum of me.
Awesome. So let's take a minute to get grounded. Let's see here. I think I want to do the singing bell. So each of you, wherever you are, rest. Allow the weight of your feet, the weight of your hips, the weight of your head, the weight of your back to fall into the place that it is resting. So we're going to now just take a moment to listen to the singing bell and allow it to vibrate, allow it to ring within your body, within your mind, within your spirit. And relax your mind as you prepare to hear Kay Chante offer a selection. But first, let's embrace this space. And if silence is uncomfortable for you, allow yourself to hear your breath. Embrace the surroundings and the noise and the music around you. And when you are ready, open up your eyes and wake up your body and prepare yourself to hear Chante sing this selection. And we'll be right back.
Show me the mystery, reveal to me an enemy. Don't let me buy into a smoke screen of identity. Unfold in me my divinity. Remember the memory of who I really am. I see in me a revealing divine mystery. I want me to want me. I need me to need me. I see me, I see me, all of the glory that's within me. I see me. This crazy journey led me here. I see me, I see me. No more pretending, no more personas, no faking strength. I'm going within divinity. I'm going within divinity. I'm heaven on earth. I'm heaven on earth. I see me mystery. I'm heaven on earth. I see me mystery.
I see you, mystery. Caught you off guard. Got you
Just a
off
little bit.
guard. Got you. I see you, the mystery of me. I see you, the mystery of me. So, hello. I see my one of my best friends, my sister friends, is here. Hey, Lavonda, thanks for showing up. So, yeah, we are here today to talk about self care and spirituality. For those of you that know how Holy Ground do our holy experiences, on the ninth of each month, we have a contemporary experience. And on the third Sunday of each month, we have a Christian experience. So today, Tashari and I will share from the depths of our souls the necessity of self care and spirituality. And Tashari, I'm going to invite you to lead this.
I love it. I love it. Thanks. Start us off. We already did our grounding moment, but we were thinking through what we wanted to use. I'm going to read this quote by Audre Lorde to guide our. It says, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, and that is an act of political warfare." About what it means for you. And Rev Melissa, do you want to tell us intro what the quote means to you?
Yeah, so right now, as timely as it is, right now currently in we are currently living our lives, and it seems like history is really trying to repeat itself, okay? Um and I'm mindful that we have just and we are still going through a pandemic of COVID-19 or the coronavirus, as well as this pandemic of racism that has really showed up um, in a very peculiar way these past few years, especially when there was a certain leader in the White House. Okay. So, what this quote mean to me and why this quote is so relevant right now is that is because this if we don't know how to take care of ourselves, then all of the bills that are happening, all of the things that are happening that are of violence that are affecting people who are on living on the margins. Do you all know what I mean when I say people living on the margins? People living on the margins, people who are black, brown, othered, people with uh, intellectual disabilities, people with physical disabilities, people who are indifferent, people who are of the LGBTQ plus community, and our allies and our acquaintances. For those that are affirm us, who else are on the margins? Women are on the margins. So whenever you hear about any bills or anything that specifically target certain folk, these are the people on the margins. And if you fit any of these categories, and that's not all, there's poor people who are poor or not middle class, the uneducated. So now is a time for us to really think about how we will survive. Okay, because right now self-care is necessary for survival. And for some of us who have families, who have children, who have people that we care for, and I'm not just speaking of our elderly or our parents or our grandparents or aunties or uncles. I'm speaking for people who are our age, because I have seen that nowadays um, we're having to take care of each other. And in order to take care of other people, you have to take care of yourself. So that is what it means to me right now in its simplest of terms.
I love that. I love that. I love that you thought socially about it. Because even though my answer is kind of social, I feel it is more personal. And so I appreciate that you expanded this. But when I thought about thought about the quote, and specifically the part where it says warfare. Um, I was like, why is that? And then I was like, well, live in a society that is in, what do we call it, late stage capitalism. We're objects of productivity, like as individuals, that's how we're looked at. And so if you for this society, keep it running, then you're valuable. However, if you need to take time to do the radical act of taking time for yourself, you're no longer serving in capitalistic system. And so that's what it means to me. It's not indulging. It's not, I don't like that it has the self-indulgence part, because mainly I think there's this prescriptive where it has to be spa days, which feeds into capitalism, has to be spa days and pedicures and manicures, when self-care can be taking a nap. You know what I'm saying? You can go lay down,
Mm-hmm.
you can go for a walk, enjoy that like symbiotic relationship we have with the earth. So I think it's not self-indulgence and it is self-preservation, because in a society that would rather work for me to allow me to care for myself and live for myself. Yes.
So, so when I so the reason I didn't really put focus on the self-indulgence part is because I each of us see pleasure. When I see self-indulgence, I think of pleasure. And
Mm,
we could all use more pleasure. And all of our pleasure isn't going to be the same. Some of us know how to acquire pleasure without breaking the bank or living outside of our means. So, self indulgence for me is like, just finding moments of pleasure. So, caring for myself can be all of that. That's why. So I'm like, caring for that is all of that. Um, and the self preservation, I know I have to know what I need, and if pleasure is what I need, and if um, taking a bath or eating my favorite food or burning my incense or my candles or doing my garden or sitting in silence, um, that could be self indulgent to some people who are unable to acquire those things. So yeah, it's interesting how we can look at this self-indulgence thing, but I know I do. When I look at this quote, I really focus on that self-preservation, because if we don't know how to take care of ourselves when it comes to the physical, and I'm all about mind, body, and spirit, as well as looking at this quote politically, knowing what is going on in this world, then hey, you won't even be here. So yeah, that was how I decided to look at this one. So yeah, thank you for sharing, Tashari. I like that.
of course. Um, I'd also, so I think we've hinted at it a little bit, but it sounds subjective, and I want us to lean into that a little bit. So understanding that we are not prescribing any one way for you to care for yourself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a woman named Kimberly Gobal, and she's a Black woman who trained at, and she runs what's called the Ministry of Black Women's Self Care. And they meet once a month, but she defines it on her site and says like self is a relative term. I have the right to define what that means for me, and no one thing is going to work for everyone. Should have access to care in ways that feel good for them. And so I really appreciated that she which is something we don't see often. If you
Mm-hmm.
could add something, what might you add, Red?
Oh, yeah. So for me, whenever I think about life and think about anything, um, it's relational. So when I think of self care, I think about the relationship, of course, to yourself, like being in tune with who you are, what you need, in tune as in emotional intelligence, knowing what emotion you are going through, knowing what has affected you or have moved you into that emotion, knowing what your personality type is, so you know how to care for that thing. Because I believe, just as I believe, faith is holistic, like encompassing of a variety of things. So do I think our care is for ourselves. You know, there may be moments where you may find care that is going to be in tune with your sun sign or your zodiac sign. And other days, you may need to tap into your love language. So, when I think about self care, knowing that it's not always going to be the same, and just living a life and embracing a space that is fluid enough for you to be mindful that, hey, my body may need this, or my mind may need this. I actually do need to go to this therapy, or um, this solo therapy isn't working for me. I may need to do group therapy. That may hold me more accountable. um, I actually may need to eat healthier than I was before. I may need to exercise, and maybe I'll feel a little bit better. I may need to know what is happening in this world so I can take care of myself, so I have enough energy to do whatever I need to do next. Um, Self care. So, as it's relational, it's also, as you know what you need and are tapping into who you are. Um, it's also an opportunity where you have to create boundaries, um, because there are going to be sometimes you can't say yes all the time, and there are going to be sometimes you can't say no all the time. Well, you can, but it may not be as healthy as you may feel. I am someone who will say, "Hey, let me look into it first before I can commit." And that's because I know who I am. I'm someone, if I'm going to do something, I'm all in it. If I feel like there's an inkling that I'm not going to be all the way in it, then I'm not going to be like, yeah, let me do it. But that's me knowing who I am. Um so yeah, I will definitely add that to self-care: boundaries and knowing who you are in every capacity.
Mama Thorpe used to say, "And whose you are." I
Ah,
think that part helps me a lot.
yes.
With that in mind, so thinking about whose we are, think about creator, but I also think about the communities I belong to. Care mean to you in the context of your spirituality? Like, how does it relate to how you practice? How you practice spirituality impact your self care? And I can share first if you can share.
Yes, thank you.
You want me to?
Thank you very much. I'm starting to
Of
feel,
course.
I feel like you starting to feel like Oprah. Uh-oh. Where you go? Tashari, what you done did? My co-host is gone. There you go.
Am I here?
Yes, you here now. And you took your screen off. Tashari, Tashari. Oh, y'all. What happened to my co-host? So I'll take it from here until I think you did that on
Lord.
purpose.
No, 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 I didn't. I didn't. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes, I
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. All right. All right. So to answer the question, spirituality and my self care are very, very much interconnected. Mainly because I feel like my mental health and my spiritual health are super connected. So if I don't take and normally time for me, I see as time for time for and with the divine, like inside as well as around. So like imminent and like transcendent use, like close and far. Anyway, if I don't, then my mental health starts to decline. Or my mental, the relationship between my spiritual self and my I'm looking at my notes, and my mental is like very much intertwined. I can't really actually parse them apart that much. Um, yeah, yeah. And there have been some times where I use spiritual things to help me. So one of my advisor here is Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes, and yoke. It's about Black women and the burden of strength, and so using that text to really help me think about on and how like the strong Black woman is enmeshed, embedded, and how we have to like work to undo that because it's like carried in our body.
Mhm.
Coleman had this devotional, and it's for folks who live life with depressive conditions.
Say that other part. Say that one before the devotional, because you kind of
Monica Coleman,
ah
yeah.
got it.
And it's called Not Alone, and so sometimes I feel very much alone, and the chapters are super short, but it's one way to increase like my spiritual my faith journey as well as my mental health because I feel like I'm inside like people are in solidarity with myself. So yes, those are the ways that my spirituality and self-care is.
Okay. So, let me see. I could share some resources. You said Monica Coleman. When you said
Mm-hmm.
her, I thought about the bipolar faith. I
Mm-hmm.
thought about the bipolar faith. It's just always good to know that there are people, there are scholars, um, there are people that look like you or our family members that have been able to talk about mental health and faith. So this is something that has been helpful for me. Um, let's see here. I'm always when it comes to because I'm a veteran, and I was diagnosed with PTSD and depression. And then during the pandemic, I was told I had anxiety, which made sense because I was paranoid of everybody. So, so yeah, so that was real. And so what else stands out for me when I think about my intersections is Stand Your Ground with Dr. Kelly Brown Douglas, because during the pandemic, I was looking for just something to remind me and encourage me, as well as affirm my blackness and my black body, that it's okay for me to be mad. It's okay for me to be angry. So that was something that I do that I really love. And another intersection of me, as I think about care and identity, sexuality in the Black church, of course. As you can see, I really like Dr. Kelly Brown Douglas. Um, so, but those are the three that really stand out for me as I think about the intersections of who I am, as well as the other people that I look at or listen to, especially Dr. Will Gaffney, as she really does a wonderful job of sharing that womanist lens. I've been able to really and use her lectionary to see myself and find myself as I interpret the Bible and things, and that's definitely important, because now in this time you want to be able to see yourself. You want to be able to know that you can make it, and you matter, and you care, and you belong in this world. So being intentional about reading and following people who are representatives of who you are and how you show up is definitely, and I definitely have spiritual mentors as well that I follow and listen to. um, Bishop Yvette Flunder and Reverend Cedric Harmon, and my spiritual father, that's going to be our speaker for Resurrection Sunday, Dr. Ron Hobson. Um, because if you're not intentional about the people you follow and the people that speak to you, then you might just disappear. You might just disappear, and you won't be really growing,
Mm-hmm.
growing in this space, whether it's uh, spiritually or emotionally. Um, Knowing that each of us, we have our own path, we have our own path, and we are responsible for what we need to tune up ourselves so we can care for ourselves. So yeah, those are some of the identities. So when it comes to my spirituality, I spend that time reading, I spend that time just listening. um I'm very in tune with nature. So when it comes to spirituality, I'm sitting and I'm listening to the birds and listening and feeling the wind blow, and the signs, because I'm someone who asks God for signs. You know, some of us have faith, and I have my let me tell you, I have a sister, Rhonda. Before she passed away, we were in seminary together. And oh my gosh, she would just show up and be like, "Hey, I just got $1 or I got a quarter." And I'm like, "Well, shoot, what we gonna do?" She said, "Oh, I have faith. We gonna make it through." I said, "Well, I don't have that kind of faith, but I've learned, and we all have our different kind of faith." So my spirituality shows up with signs because the divine know what I need. I talk to the divine. I talk to my angels, my ancestors, and I call them my entourage. I just say I'm showing up with my entourage so people know I am taken care of. So yeah, spirituality is me talking to them, telling them, "Hey, I need to know. I need to see something." And me listening to nature show me and speak to me, and as well as the other many messengers that are navigating in this world. Maybe you all that I may come across are a messenger that my entourage may send. So yes, that's how self-care and spirituality show up for me, just being in tune and listening.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. My. I, for viewers, I cannot tell where the camera is in case it looks like I'm staring off. I just
That's
won't focus.
I just thought
Uh,
you was looking at your notes.
oh, thanks.
See, nobody would
Um,
even know.
yes, true. That's true. About how I heard you talk about some of your identities specifically as a black, and that made me think about how my age, I think, impacts how I care. Um, my mom's generation, which is my mama not that far apart, we like 22 years apart, but me and my mama exactly different views on how caring for self should work. So whereas some people, I think I need to, like right now, and this is not, this is hopefully to abolish stigma. I started recently taking medication for my depression, medication for anxiety as well. And
Okay.
so talk to mom, she's like, "Oh, you get on TikTok, you see like younger people, these help me, these two little pills help me every day." Generational differences between like how
Mhm.
caring for self can look. So be, and it is, yes, like getting out in nature, being physical, like physically eating well does help. Right now I'm seeing that I need like a little extra boost in an age group where I think medication is less stigmatized, has been helpful for yes. Mm-hmm.
I hear you. And I'm mindful that we each of us have to decide, what works for us. But I'm in Generation X, and in my generation, there are some of us who are okay with taking meds. There are some of us who are still going to church to pray this thing away. Um, and there are some of us who are able to manage without the meds. And I have been one of those people. I'm blessed to be one of those people right now. That wasn't me before, because I was really taking meds for depression and PTSD. I have been able to manage it by some extremely extreme self-care. And and as I mentioned before, that's not everybody's story. It took a minute for me to get here. I am 43. So in my 20s and 30s, I was taking meds for depression, and I had the time, and I was in seminary, all that. I had the time to figure out what I need. And for some of us that can, it requires a lot of work. I'm just going to keep it real. It requires a lot of work. There are times where I have to try to figure out what I'm going to do. So it takes that's why my self-care game is so tight. I'm doing all the things, all the things, especially during the winter time. During the winter time, I have to do all the things. Like my body has to be in physical shape. It has to be moving. I have to be around people um, as best I can, even if it's a Zoom room, because I am an extrovert um, by personality, and I'm also an introvert when it comes to my time and my space, when it comes to my spirituality. So yeah, um, all of that. I was at the gym. Sometimes I would come home and do some stretches and work out at home. I have the aromatherapy oils going. I have candles going. I have movies going that make you laugh. Like, so if you are intentional about it, and you're someone who do not believe in medicine, then I want you to know that your self-care game has to be on point. And I want to say it's okay to take medicine too, because I've decided I'd rather take medicine for my pain than take medicine for my mental health, because for me, I had anxiety. I was stressed out trying to figure out, now what's going to work with this, what's not going to work with that, what's going to make me sleepy, what's going to keep me awake. So yeah, we have to know who we are, and we have to know what we can tolerate, and how we can survive in this world. So yeah, I definitely believe your generation is more open and more out and more communicable when it comes to just any topic that surrounds stigma. When I'm in justice circles, it's very few of us that's my age, which is why I'm usually the youngest. So yeah, your mom is straight up. She's right on. She's right on that our generations are different. And of course, I'm sure her generation, maybe with my parents' generation, possibly. And they're still going to they're still going to church, probably praying it away, unless they have, you know, embraced mental health and its benefits.
Yeah. My. Yeah.
So, and if any of you are listening or watching now, or will share or will watch later, feel free to drop what you do for self-care too. I mean, this is something that is so necessary right now. It's so timely right now. And especially for those who are parents, like, how are you taking care of yourself so you could take care of your kids? For those of us who are partners, lovers, spouses, like, how are you taking care of yourself so you can show up for the one that you have decided to be with or share life with, whatever that capacity look like? And for those who are single by choice or not, and you are working, how are you taking care of yourself so you can show up for your job? And those who have a partner, okay, you have a job, you have a partner. If you are a parent, like there are so many layers to this thing. Like it's so many reasons for us to figure out what we need so we can just be better gifts of humanity in this world.
I love it. I think you raised a great and talk about what we actually do for self care. We talked about what it is, but we didn't share our practices. So
I
I'll
named a
share a
few.
couple
I
of
named a few.
You did. You did. You said you went to the gym. I didn't tell mine then. So I journal. I
Hmm.
journal a lot, actually. I have a lot of journals. But that's mainly I like to journal in different size journals, and I have lots of pens. But I also there's a tree that I talk to. It might
Okay.
sound silly, but by Howard Thurman, and our instructor told us to go outside and talk to a tree, and now I'm just like, I'll go talk to it, and I just am fascinated with.
I love it. Do you touch the tree? Yes. Touch the tree. Yeah. And as it get warmer, take your shoes and your socks off and allow your feet to feel the roots of that tree. Yes, I love that.
Mhm.
I
Thank
love
you.
how
Thank
Herman too.
I know you do. You were the one. I don't know if I ever told you that I read Jesus Christ, the one that we read in our book club. I read it for my intro to pastoral care. Jesus in the
Jesus and disinherited.
Yes, yes.
Got it. So for any of you all that's looking for a Howard Thurman book that's deep, check out that Creative Encounter. That's another one. It's so small, but oh my goodness, I had to read that book over and over and over because it was just so deep. So yeah, this is one thing. I'm gonna show you something else. Can y'all see this?
Oh, you color?
I color for self care. I really color for self care. Like I love coloring. Let me show y'all how serious this is. I have like four big coloring books, but look, check this out. I have books. I have like books and they have stories and things. So yeah, I have books. I have a mindfulness coloring book. But I really like this is Happy Color. Uh, Happy Color was introduced by Brooke Blander, our journaling journey leader. So she told me about Happy Color. I I take myself out at least once a quarter to lunch, just by myself, just to sit with myself. I try my hardest not to pull out my phone and just sit and just be in the moment. I live a life of mindfulness. So whenever I eat, whenever I walk, whenever I drive, I try to really be in tune with it. And when I don't, I notice that I have not taken that time. Like today, I came, I got home because Kim has swim on Thursdays. I got home, I finished cooking up some food. I like to cook for self care. So let me tell y'all what I cooked today. So this morning I made like this lemon garlic white wine cream sauce that I knew I was going to add some seared scallops to. And I had some angel hair pasta and some spinach and tossed it up. So that was dinner. And when I got home, I was so hungry. I was like, I said, man, I smashed it. So I ate it so fast. I really didn't get to enjoy the flavors of it, but I knew it was amazing because I took my time today to really make that sauce. So cooking is self-care for me because it allows me to just be in moment to create. Because I'm a creative, I have to make sure I'm in spaces where I can do things that allow me to create and move my brain in ways so I don't get stuck. Okay. That's self care for me. Of course, I went to the gym today. um, and candles. What else? Let's just we can piggyback. Let's.
Candles. I have incense, so I use incense. I like the smoke. It's really peaceful for me. I also like to play with it. Like you can bend smoke. See, yeah. I love incense. What else?
That's a downward the downflow.
Ooh,
So
nice.
it'll flow downwards.
Yeah. I also do karaoke and line dancing to care for around my camera because I won't turn around my camera because cleaning up self care. But I have a karaoke machine and I have lots of floor space. When I feel, or yeah, when I feel the need, I turn it on and
Okay.
yeah, I just start singing. And then I have a line dance playlist. I get tired of singing. Hmm.
Okay. Good. So yeah, self care. I mean, it's so many different things we could do. I know a lot of people like I don't understand how so many people are able to see so much TV. But people watch TV for self care. I usually watch TV during March because I like basketball. So that's when I'm intentional about TV. I want to show y'all this downward flow. This has been like one of my things that has given me joy. You like this and it flows downward. And they have different types of things. This is a small one. So I fell in love with this because it's a black hand. And I was waiting for something
Mhm.
that, spoke to me. And I was like, oh, that black hand. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. So, yeah, this is one of those things that really, and sometimes I could just stare at this and just daydream. It's wonderful. And music. Oh, that's what I forgot. That's why I brought this down. Usually this is up there. If you know me, you know I am a dancing machine. So I definitely do dancing um for my self-care and for my self-preservation. How about that?
Yeah. I love it. Beautiful. Well, I know the rest is also self care. I don't know how we wanted to end, if we want to end with a grounding.
Yes, let me just share one thing, and if it's okay, you can just close us out. Is that okay?
Okay.
So I want to say thank you all for joining us today for our holy experience. It was good to have one that was low key, that was chill, um, because sometimes that's just what we need in life. And I hope as you move forward with the next few moments of your life, you think about what self care looks like for you. And also, self care for me is having a faith space or a space that have rituals that can hold me accountable. So if you are in need of a faith space or a spiritual space to come, um, to watch that can hold you accountable, or a place where you can get some tools, hear some music, see some different folks, we definitely would love for you to join us at Holy Ground Spiritual Center. Our next service is our contemplative meditation. And usually I would do the contemplative on the morning time, like 11 or 10 on the second Sunday. But this Sunday, I'm going to do a 8 p.m. contemplative meditation and talk about some shadow work. So we're going to do some shadow work because that's what has been in my spirit that we need. I'll definitely do a meditation, possibly a body scan, But I want you to bring your journals, bring your notes, bring your paper, your phone, however you take notes. And we're going to really start tapping into ourselves. So join me on Sunday for some shadow work. If you're looking to join Holy Ground, become a Holy Grounder, send us a message in our DM or send us a message at Holy Ground Spiritual Center at gmail.com. I would love to help you navigate your journey. I would love to be your virtual pastor or your spiritual director. So, Tashari is going to close us out in a grounding, I believe, a meditation. However, Tashari is led to leave us.
Yes. I just wanted to share that because I was gonna give a blessing and then I was like, I should give an explanation. Commandment is to love God and then love our neighbor as ourselves. And as has said multiple times, we cannot love other people well. We can't care for other people well if we don't care. So go forth from this space, loving God, loving your neighbor well by doing self-care. Amen.